I'm Dr. Joseph Dorsey. I'm on the faculty at the Patel College of Global Sustainability at the University of South Florida. I wear many hats, so one of the things that I do is I oversee our academic capstone program, which involves internships and research projects. I also direct our food, sustainability, and security concentration, as well as being the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs. My role here has been one of working with our students. We're a graduate program. We offer a master's degree in global sustainability. We have master's in arts and master in science. We have 9 concentrations, which involve food, water, energy, as well as climate change, business, and transportation, among things like that. Well, I'm originally from Washington, D.C. That's where I grew up. I went to Howard University from undergraduate, majored in human nutrition and food. Right out of college, I went into the Peace Corps, and I did 2 years in the Ivory Coast, West Africa, working with malnourished children and their families. I got a chance to travel throughout West Africa, as well as seeing parts of Europe. When I got back to the States, I looked for employment, obviously, and I found out about a position down in the U.S. Virgin Islands in St. Croix with the WIC program, Women, Infants, and Children. And so I also did a couple of years in Washington, D.C., working as a clinical nutritionist looking at pregnancy outcomes. So 10 years of my career were basically working in health and nutrition and maternal and child care. And so as I was working on my master's degree in international development, I became aware of a program in the University of Michigan in their School of Natural Resources and Environment. And I went into that program as a doctoral student and completed it in around 1999. I did my research in Flint, Michigan, looking at the dynamics between, it was a waste to energy facility that was being sited in the Flint area. And so I looked at the dynamic between the government, industry, and the community as far as making that decision of where to site it and to start that operation. So that started me thinking more about community-based activities. My dissertation work looked specifically at community-based activism, and I used the frame of environmental justice to look at this dynamic between government, industry, and community. Well, with the word sustainable or sustainability can mean many things to many people. But in general, what it means is making sure that what you are working with now can be sustained over the long period. So the idea is stretching out it over time. Is it sustainable? And we live in a society that generally is very about quickness, having things immediate. And as I said earlier, we also live in an economic system that considers us consumers. You know, when I think of a consumer, I think of like the old Pac-Man, munch, 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 we eat. But what are we giving back? And so if you're constantly taking and taking, then you're within a finite world. You know, there's only but so much water, only but so much land, only but so much air. Nothing new is coming into the planet Earth except for sunlight, and everything else is already here. So we need to start thinking about what they call limits of growth. You know, there are limits to how much we can expand, how much we can dig, how much we can grow, all these type of things. And sustainability helps us to sort of measure that. Like, how do you stretch these things out over time? One of the things I talk about in class is the temporal or time aspect of, you know, human progress. So, for example, I mentioned before, you know, hundreds of thousands of years ago, humans were nomadic. You know, they kind of wandered the planet and following animals and moving with the seasons. And when 10,000 years came, you know, that agriculture has been that process we've done for like 10,000 years. And when the Industrial Revolution came about, we started to build cities and you know, urban culture and so forth over the last few centuries. Now, the next level is like the age of information, which started sort of in the 20th century. And so that was computers and television, radio, and all those type of things. And so decades of progress took place there. Now we're in the 21st century, and we're watching things accelerate more and more. And so AI may come into place very soon, and all of these things accelerate us. Now, if you're thinking about us going from 100,000 years of progress to 10,000, to centuries, to decades, we're collapsing time. And so sustainability is saying, Well, if we're using resources so quickly, what are we going to have for the next few decades, or the next few centuries, you know? And that's why we have to kind of start paying attention to what we do as far as what we grow, the energy that we use, the water that we drink. All of these things have limited, cycles. Now, how do we stretch those things out? And so that's what sustainability is about. It's not just about the environment, but it's about humans as well, because we're the ones who have to sustain ourselves. If humans disappeared, the planet would go on without us. So if we really think about sustainability, it's more about thinking about making us a planet that's habitable and also gives us products and things to continue to live off of indefinitely. And so that's my definition of sustainability.